to go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for another edition of the Modern Agent Blueprint. And before we get started, before I introduce our special guest, Marguerite, I do want to remind everybody that on April 28th, Thursday, from 9 until, is it till 1 o'clock, Julie? 9 until 1, we're going to be having a Level Up event, and that's going to be sponsored by the Modern Agent Blueprint. And Julie, why don't you tell us just real quick about the event before we get started?
Yeah, sure. So it's called Level Up, and it is a women-led entrepreneur and real estate event, but it's not women exclusive. It's just women-led. So we're going to continue to have Level Up events in the future, and probably won't have as much pink in the graphic, right, Nicole? So anyway, we have some awesome speakers. We have Jen Hootsdale is going to talk about mindset. We're going to have Julia Brenner on manifestation. We're having Kendra, the blonde mom, talking about creating your signature style. We're having a photographer, Jamie Vandewinkle, talking about branding, and myself included. Marguerite will be there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be at Andiamo's in Warren, Michigan from 9
Nicole.
Oh my God, Nicole.
And me,
I was going to have her introduce herself. How can I forget?
Sorry, I was late. I had to get some food. So sorry.
I was looking right at you as I was talking, Nicole. So,
You're so funny.
Feel free to chime in.
No, I was going to say myself and Nikki Wolf, who's a realtor out of Toledo, are going to be talking about kind of wrapping that all together into social media. And then Julie is going to be talking with another special guest on designing your dream business. So it's going to be really exciting. And we're so excited that Marguerite's coming because she's done an event just like this in California, and it was a huge success. So
you can be our MC.
We're actually having one May 11th in Northern California. We're doing Top Women in Real Estate. It'll be our third one. We're really excited about it. So
that's
if
great.
you're in Northern California, May 11th, come on by and see it.
Hey, we might have some people on this that are from Northern California.
Yeah, Kim Everson, who's on here. She's on our team, and she's here. Hi, Kim.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get started. So without further ado, I want to introduce one of my favorite people in the world. She has been an inspiration to me and my family. I love her dearly. She is the reason why Julie and I are at EXP. Backstory is I used to have a software company, and Marguerite was one of my customers. And after we sold and a couple of years passed, we got connected, and she told us about EXP, and it really changed my life, my wife's life, and our family's life. So Marguerite, why don't you go ahead and take it away and tell us how we can create a lifelong business.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm really excited. I've been watching you guys just grow this Modern Agent Blueprint like crazy. I mean, it was just like a little twinkle idea not too long ago, and you guys have really run with it. And it's exciting to see how many people are joining your group every single day and how much it's growing. And you guys have had some amazing people. I'm honored to be on the show because you guys have had some real rock stars. So it's really,
you're a rock star yourself.
Well, I don't see that rock star in myself, but I'm excited to be here, and I've been around a long time. And so I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. So I wanted to start out a little bit and talk about, let me see how I can move this. Let's see. We don't want all this junk over here, right? There you go. The interesting thing is I have now been in real estate for 28 years, and it is crazy to say that because I certainly don't feel that way. I started in real estate, a couple of days after I was born. So there you go. But the truth is I got into real estate actually when I was 30 years old. And I didn't really have some plans for a couple of things I want to tell, but I decided that I wanted to throw them in because I want to talk a little bit about goals and dreams and what that takes. And what it looks like to actually build clients for life, because people talk about that a lot, but I don't know that they really understand what that means, so to speak. And so I've always been a goal setter from the time I was very young. I mean, I have journals from when I was a little girl writing down things that I wanted, and I was always a big dreamer. And I grew up very, very poor, homeless for a bit. My mom struggled a lot and, was married a few times. And so when I remember going at 15 years old to a friend's house, and they lived on 5 acres, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is so incredible. Like, what would it be like to ever live someplace like that, right? And I remember writing in my journal that by the time I was 30 years old, I wanted to own 5 acres. I wanted a 5-acre ranch, because I just, in my mind, thought that was just like the end all be all, right? And it's kind of crazy how life works and how life, the universe works, what God does, whatever you believe, but it's interesting how life works. So fast forward, I'm 29 years old. My husband and I have a young son, Jordan, who's about 5 years old. And we were living in an area called North Highlands, and in our small little first starter home, 900 square feet. And I had all these dreams about owning this land. So my husband and I started talking about buying property, and we started talking about living in the country. My husband grew up in the country in a small town called Loomis. It's just about 5 miles from where we live now. And I was looking for a house, and I was not a real estate agent yet. And my husband was in the mortgage business, and he kept saying, hey, why don't you get your real estate license? You could do loans. Interest rates had dropped to an all-time low of 8%. So all you guys out there complaining that rates went up to, like, I don't know, 4, whatever stupid, ridiculous they are. It was pretty funny that we were so excited interest rates were dropping to 8%. So I worked really hard to get my real estate license. We had a young son at home. I was going to do loans, and we'd been looking for a property for about a year. And all of a sudden one day I opened the newspaper back in the old days, for those of you who remember, and looked at the classifieds, and there was an ad for property in Newcastle. It was seller finance, bank-owned property on 5 acres. I called my husband. I said, hey, I'm going to go check out this property in Newcastle. He goes, Newcastle's fine. I just don't want to live in stinking Lincoln. I was like, okay, because he knew the area and I really didn't. I grew up in Chico. So I drove out here, came down this dirt road, came around the corner, and there was this huge oak tree there, and it had a tree house in it. We had a 5-year-old little boy. Called my husband. I said, Joe, we're buying a house. He goes, no, we're not. I go, yes, we are. He goes, no, we're not. I go, yes, we are. Drive out here. So I drove down the road, pulled up to the house, and it was a bank-owned home. It was bright yellow, neon yellow, and it was all overgrown. It had a pool with a chain link fence around it, and ivy overgrown everywhere. And I snuck into the back. The back door was open, and they locked a bunch of animals in, so it smelled all like, dogs and cats and junk, and had indoor outdoor carpet. I called my husband. I go, we're buying a house. He goes, no, we are not. I said, drive out here. And because I knew when I saw that oak tree that this is the place, like this is what I wanted. So I called the real estate agent. He comes out. I had literally just gotten my real estate license. It was December 23rd. I got my license that day. My husband goes, we can't afford it. We're not going to be able to do it. The house was for $260,000. He goes, we can't do it. I go, I'm going to find a way. So I remember talking to my friend. They're like, you just got your real estate license. Write it yourself and you can keep the commission. So it was 5% down, seller financing at 10% interest, right? And we were able to get this home. So I literally wrote my very first contract that I ever wrote ever in my life in real estate on the home that I live in today. We closed escrow January 24th, 1994. I had just turned 30 years old 2 months before. So in my journal said, set big goals, right? So we still live here today. Here's what makes it even better. For 28 years, I had written down completely remodeled house because, the house was a mess when we bought it. We've had to do little projects over the years. But real estate is crazy and life happens. The market goes up, the market goes down. And so it was a challenge to get the work done. Never in my wildest dreams did I have any idea what a completely remodeled house looked like, but I kept writing it down year after year after year after year. Well, in 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, some of you may know. And during that time, I said, I'm going to start figuring out how I can get some of this stuff off my bucket list, important things that I wanted to do. And one of them was that completely remodeled house. Well, the crazy blessing is EXP, as we talked about. I know this isn't about EXP, but what I'm here to tell you is that during that time, we had been awarded a lot of stock for making Icon and bringing on agents and stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys remember, but during that time, the stock went crazy. And luckily we had talked to a contractor about remodeling our house, and we were just going to do a little kitchen remodel, and then the stock went up. I said, well, what would it cost to do the family room? The stock went up. I go, what would it cost to do the master bathroom? The stock went up. So again, I had no plan. All I had was a dream. All I had was a goal. Next thing you know, we are now living in our completely top to bottom remodeled home after 28 years. So none of that was part of the plan today, but I'm telling you, I'm just telling you guys to dream big and really look at how you can build your business and what that looks like. So let me show you a little bit about what it means to build a business for life. This is Linda Buckmaster. I met Linda Buckmaster in 1997. Remember, I told you guys I got my real estate license in 93. So I did loans for about a year. I hated doing loans. God bless any of you lenders who are out there, but loans was no fun. So I did loans, and then I decided to get into real estate. And I was doing open houses. I was trying to figure out ways to get business. And Linda Buckmaster walked into an open house on a HUD home that I was holding open. I sold her a $50,000 HUD home in 1997, you guys. And that literally ended up being like a $1,500 commission before broker splits and all that kind of stuff. Linda has since 1997 referred me 8 people who have referred people, who have referred people, who have referred people, who have referred people, 8 levels deep, 65 referrals, still counting, as I'm in contract today with a gal named Jody Wilson, who was referred by Sue Lee, who is in this referral tree, and it continues to grow. Those referrals have resulted in over 40 plus sales now, over $300,000 in commissions. Looks a lot like a pyramid maybe, or a multi-level marketing, I don't know. But that is what I have built for myself in my real estate business. And you guys have that same opportunity and same potential by simply making sure that your database is the most valuable thing that you own. Literally the most valuable thing you own. My database, you guys, is worth more than what's in my bank account. Okay, because Linda is just one person out of 3,000 people that are in my database now. So can you just add those numbers up? If one person continues to refer like Linda Buckmaster out of 3,000, imagine what all the rest are doing. You guys, I have 5 listing appointments this week, all as a result of my database from 28 years of taking care of my database. Everyone's out there crying the blues, how to get business. All I'm doing is working my database. So let's talk a little bit about what I do to work my database. Number one, I simply send out a little letter of the heart, a story about me and my life. It's not about real estate. I'll tell you, twice in 28 years, I've written about real estate. Once when the market crashed back in 2006, and once when the market started going nuts in 2014-15, right? And so the reality is I send out a little letter. If you guys don't write well, don't worry about it. Send something. I don't care what you send, but I send 2 things to my database every month. I send a little story about my life. I send a snail mail letter. Yes, good old fashioned snail mail for some of you youngins. And the reason I send snail mail is because what is the biggest complaint that all of you guys have about your database? Is that, oh, I got to wait till it's perfect. Oh, I got to wait till it's right. Oh, there's all kinds of mistakes and errors in there. Guess how you fix the errors, folks? Yes, send out a letter. And when you send out that letter and mail comes back, here's the worst thing ever. When the mail comes back and you look up the address and you realize they bought and sold a house with somebody else because you didn't stay in contact with them. That really sucks. So just so you know. And so I send out a letter because guess what? I get the mail back. I get to correct my database. It's pretty cool, right? What's another way that you can? I send out an email, the same thing with my email. Some of you are on my mailing list. Some of you get my mail every month. This was one of the most popular letters I sent out. It was about my grandfather, who rests his soul in heaven. He lived with us for about 9 years here. We built a little house on here. And my grandfather loved Reuben sandwiches. Like that was his thing, right? That was his jam. And so every week we would have a date and we would go out and we would hunt for the perfect Reuben. We would try to find great restaurants that he could find this perfect Reuben. So I literally wrote that in this letter and sent it out to my database. And I got bombarded with calls, text messages, emails, little notes. Hey, you got to check out this, sandwich place, the Boxing Donkey's the best. Go check out Jack's Urban Eats, right? I got all these different messages. And it was crazy. Well, guess what happens, you guys? When you get people on the phone, what do people do? They're like, hey, what's going on in the real estate market? I'm getting people to call me instead of me having to cold call and dial for dollars all day long, right? So what would you prefer? This letter has been one of my most successful letters. I send out a different letter every single month. I have for 28 years I've sent out. Now, times have changed. Different things have changed. I've sent out recipe cards before. I've sent out newsletters, all the way to 12-page newsletters. I've sent out all different kinds of stuff. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, snail mail still works. And people complain all the time, oh, I don't have the time. Oh, I don't this. You guys, most of you on average have less than 200 people in your actual database. So what does that cost you? Let's say worst case scenario, it costs you $1 a piece with stamp and everything, which it doesn't. But let's say that it did for you. So you'd mail out 200 letters a month. It would cost you $200. Or I don't know, go spend $200 on Zillow and roll the dice, right? Which would you prefer? So these letters have really, really been extraordinary for my business. And what I'm here to tell you is that when you build your business right, it eliminates your competition. It literally eliminates your competition, because the truth is, if they know me, like me, and trust me, they're not even going to bother talking to you. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a listing appointment with a past client and seen everybody else's marketing materials there. Their little calendar magnets and stuff on their refrigerator, right? But they're listing with me because I'm the one who has the relationship with them. So let me show you another little example. These are the Hymans, Clay and Meg Hyman, just a lovely family. The picture on the left is in 2002 when I actually sold them their very first home. And if you notice, she's got a little baby bump in the front there, right? That was their very first home. And I had invited them to parties, sent them letters, all kinds of stuff over the years, and they never showed up, but I would talk to them every once in a while. They were pretty busy. All of a sudden they showed up in 2017, and now we can see what they were busy doing. They had 4 more kids, right? 4 kids. And she even apologized when she came. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We haven't been to your parties in a while. We've had a lot going on. I'm like, hey, you're all good, right? So these people literally, look how long, 15 years, right, before they actually came back and showed up to an event. But this is what clients for life really look like. So how do you really create clients for life? Well, I will tell you, one of the biggest challenges that most agents have, and what the truth is that success is consistency. It's the most important thing. Just doing something consistent. It doesn't have to be glamorous, fancy. It doesn't have to be, high-end videos, which are all great, you guys. I love what you're all doing on social media. But I'll tell you, the most successful of you that are doing stuff on social media are doing it consistently. And so if you can do anything, please do it consistently. So what's one of the first things I do? I set the stage. We have this little simple form called the ultimate scenario. And it just asks a little bit about them and their life, right? It basically asks them their name, their birthdays. We try to celebrate special days. Do they have pets? Do they have kids? Do they love their pets more than their kids, right? And what's their favorite restaurant? What kind of special interests do they have, right? Like we had several people who loved bowling, and we ended up having a great bowling event that was just a blast, right? Now they have that. I got to go try out that axe throwing thing. I haven't been to that. You guys did that not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, we're doing it in 2 weeks. We have
Are
like
you?
30 people, yeah.
Oh, very cool. I have not done that yet. Although I got kind of a tough shoulder. I don't know, but it sounds like a lot of fun, right? But the bottom line is we want to collect information about them and utilize that information in our database, right? Now, I get the same old age-old question, which database do you use? It doesn't really matter which database you use. The one you use is the one that you use. That's the most important one. So it doesn't really matter, you guys. I don't care if you use good old-fashioned Rolodex cards, an Excel spreadsheet. Ideally, use a database program. There's LionDesk, there's All Clients, there's some of those different ones, KV Core, that you can use. But what's most important is the fortune is in the follow-up, right? So how do you really create clients for life? Well, you got to invest in them. You need to get to know them a little bit. Figure out what some of their favorite restaurants are. hobbies, activities, family, pets, right? I mean, one of my favorite things is to be more interested than interesting, right? We're really good as real estate agents at being interesting. We all got lots of stuff we want to talk about, what we want to say, what we want to do. But how much time have you spent actually being interested in your clients and what's important to them? What do they like to do, right? Like, where do they like to go? What's their favorite restaurant, right? One of the best things you can ever do is to make somebody feel special. And it's not that difficult to do. How you make someone feel special is actually being interested in listening to what they say. And so if you're listening, you're learning, right? You're understanding their wants and needs. And so think about this. How can you create some wow moments for people, right? How can you make the experience memorable in a good way? My client, Jody Wilson, who's closing today, she's a disabled veteran, and her favorite thing is to garden. She loves flowers and gardens. So I went and bought a whole bunch of different plants for her to help plant in her front yard, right? And got her a gift card at Green Acres, which is a local nursery here where she can go and do some special stuff in her garden, right? I got her a very special rose bush because she mentioned how much her mom loved roses. And so do little things like that that make people feel special. Going that extra mile to make them happy, it goes a long way. And in this world that we're in, where we are so connected like never before, people are literally craving a connection. They want something that makes them feel special, feels like you paid attention, like you really got to know them, right? So for all of you love bugs on this call, one of the best things you can do is to write a love letter to your significant other. You know, I recently wrote a book, some of you may know, called 100 Things I Love About You, which is really the love story of my husband and I. And it's available. You can go to 100thingsiloveaboutyou.com and check it out. I know several of you have already ordered it. But in there, one of the homework projects I had to do was I had to make a list of the things that I loved about my husband during a time that I didn't like him very much. And so during that time, I had to literally sit down and pay attention to the things that I really, really loved about him. Now, I'm pretty blessed. He's an amazing guy. All of you guys know Joe. And, but what are some of the things that you can do to make your clients feel special? Weekly communication throughout, good or bad, is so, so important to what you want to do to build your business. So do you really want one-time clients? Do you want the churn and burn them kind of clients? Or do you want clients for life? You guys, I have a listing appointment on Thursday, as I mentioned earlier, and it's from a guy named Mark Johnston, who I sold a home to in 1999. 1999, that's what 23 years ago that I sold him that house. He calls me, says, "Are you still my real estate agent?" I said, "I'm your real estate agent for life, Mark. I'm here forever until I die." And he's so excited. He goes, "So we're going out to meet on Thursday so I can see his house." He's thrilled that I'm coming out. Those are the kind of clients you want, who are excited to see you, who are not interviewing you against 10 other people. They're not asking for discounts. They're not asking for, you to give any kind of credits or do all this extra stuff. They love you. They know you, like you, and trust you. That's what's important, right? So what are some great ways to keep in touch? Number one, you can keep track of birthdays, anniversaries, special dates. Lots of easy ways you can do that. You can set things up in programs like Send Out Cards. It sends out an actual card. You can set up birthday reminders inside your database. I told you about Linda Buckmaster early on, and her birthday was last month, and it popped up on my phone. And so I sent her a quick birthday text. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you're the only person who said happy birthday to me today." Right? Like, that's important, you guys. You can do annual reviews of the value of their home. How cool is it right now? If you're looking for listings, you guys, go do an annual review. You can say, "Hey, Lee, it's been 4 or 5 years since you bought your house. Remember, you bought it back in 2017. And I was just going through and looking at some comps and thought I'd send you a quick annual review of the value of your home. Would you like me to email it or mail it to you?" Cool, easy, simple tips, right? Connect on social media. Most of you guys are already on social media, right? Invite to parties, have client events. You guys, I love to have parties. And so one of the big things that I do is I have client events. We've done things like holiday parties, summer parties, small dinner parties. Take your realtor to lunch day, which is my favorite. So what does that mean? I call clients I have several clients that are really become good friends of mine. Call them on their birthday and I say, hey, Robin, guess what? Your birthday's coming up. I know you know that. I want to take you and several of your coworkers out to lunch. Where would you like to go? Guess what? Robin, every single year we do this on her birthday. She brings 8 to 10 of her coworkers. She works downtown at the state offices in Sacramento. And guess what we talk about at lunch, you guys? How's real estate? What's going on in the real estate market? By the way, this is my great real estate agent, Marguerite. And I always get a referral out of that, right? Housewarming parties, getting involved in charity events, casino nights. You guys, these don't have to be elaborate events. One of my favorite people, Ernestine Wilson, who's out of Washington, D.C., heard me do this talk one day, and she went and she rummaged through her gift card bag. We all have those, maybe, hopefully, where people have given you gift cards and you forget about them. And she had a $200 gift card in there from her lender. She called 4 of her girlfriends and said, hey, do you guys want to meet for happy hour on Friday? I got this gift card from my lender. I'd love to meet with you. She met 4 of her very good friends. All 4 of them gave her a referral. She generated $40,000 in commissions with a $200 gift card. Crazy. So you guys, this doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Do something, do it consistently. I have never cold called in my life. I've never called an expired. I've never called, I've never door knocked. I've never done anything like that. I have literally built my business by holding events, client events, and mailing and building my database. Now people say, but I'm brand new. I don't know anybody, or I'm new to the area, so I don't know anything. You guys, start a database today and become fanatic about adding people to it. Start with your Christmas card list. Start with your family, your friends. Reach out to people you know. Get to know your neighbors. Like, this is a combat business. You have to go out there and connect with people and meet them and go where people are. I realize we've been locked down a little bit the last couple of years in COVID, but the truth is you have lots of opportunities. Many of you have at least a minimum of 1,000 friends on social media. How can you take social media, take it online, take it offline, right? What can you do to go out and connect with people? And how can you, like, many times at my parties, people are bringing friends and guests. I'm like, please, the more the merrier, right? Partner with somebody else. Another guy who got creative, he didn't have a budget. He was a new agent. So guess what? Most communities now have music in the park or movies in the park in your local community. He got a pop-up tent. He went out to the music in the park. He put up his pop-up tent. He put VIP tent on it, and he put out some bottled waters and some little snacks that his lender helped him with. And he had a VIP tent. Anybody who wanted to be part of the VIP tent, all they had to do was come over and introduce themselves and hang out and give him their information. He did that for free with a partnership with a lender, right? So I know that we have home inspectors on here. Many of them will kick in or help out or bring snacks or bring treats. Anything they can do to get in front of people, right? So these are just a few examples of the things that I have done over the years. And I think that's all I got, Lee.
That is awesome. I think that I know Jennifer had a question. She had her hand raised.
Yes,
Jennifer, are you there?
I am.
Hi, Jen.
So, hi, how are you?
Good. You're muted. You're
You
muted.
muted yourself.
Probably Lee did that, I bet you. Hi, Marguerite.
Hi.
Yes, I have a question for you. So it's kind of twofold. So one, when you send out letters to your database and they do return of address, and then I do the same thing as I look them up and oh my gosh, they moved. So do you remove them?
So let me tell you a
don't.
funny story.
Okay.
There's a gal named Jeree Last, and I had sold Jeree Last, her and her first husband a home. Then they got divorced. I sold that home. Then she got married again. I sold them a home. Then she got divorced. I sold that home again. So I sold 4 homes for Jeree Last. All of a sudden one day I get her mail back, and I looked it up, and she had sold that house with somebody else. And I sent her a message. I'm like, hey, Jeree, I hope you're doing really well. You know, I noticed that you moved. It looks like you sold your home. I noticed that you decided not to use me this time. And I'm just wondering if I did something to offend you or upset you. If so, I'm very sorry. She literally picks up the phone and calls me. She says, oh my gosh, no, not at all. My boyfriend, his sister got a real estate license. We had to use her. It was a horrible experience. I'm never cheating on you again. So now that doesn't always happen, but no, I don't remove them. I actually update their data, their address, and I keep mailing to them. I never remove anybody in my database unless I really can't stand them, which has only happened a couple times, or they ask to be removed. And that literally in my
Right.
entire career, I would say maybe a handful of times I've had somebody ask to be removed from my database or ask to be deleted, and that's it.
So another thing too, I was thinking of, like, two of my sister's friends now have not used me, but have had horrible experiences. And they're like, oh my gosh, we're totally using your sister next time. So I'm wondering if you're hearing stuff like that, they should probably go in their database.
Absolutely.
Then, huh?
I put everybody in my database.
Do you
Literally,
tag it out?
I don't even ask them. I just put them in my database.
Do you tag them?
Tag them how?
Like in KV Core? Do you
Okay,
put tags on them? Like,
so here's how I tag my database. I have a couple
Yeah.
things. The very first thing is always the source. Where did they come from? And we should maybe teach that in another class, Lee, but the source, where did they come from? There's really only a few sources that people come from. They come from advertising, and whatever advertising medium they came from, whether that's Zillow, postcards, whatever you did. They come from a business connection, meaning a lender, home inspector, maybe your CPA, your accountant, your bookkeeper, whatever business, a business connection they come from. Or the third source is some sort of sphere of influence, a personal friend referral, a past client referral, a current client. They come from one of those three areas. So in my database, yes, I always want to know the source of where they came from, always, because I always want to thank the person who referred them if they were in fact referred. Now, a lot of people go, oh, well, I'll send them something when it actually closes, right? But the reality is, don't wait until it closes. They did their job by referring. Whether you close them or not is not their fault, right? Because here's the statistics, you guys. 1 in 3, if you get somebody from your database, a personal friend, past client, somebody like that, the conversion rate is 3 to 1, meaning every 3 referrals you get, you'll close 1 piece of business, because 2 might not be ready. They might have credit issues. They might need to save more money. Who knows what's going on, right? 1 out of 3. Business referrals, anybody that comes from your business network, might be BNI, again, all the business sources we talked about, the conversion rate is 10 to 1. Advertising of any source is 100 to 1. So where do you guys want to spend your time, money, and resources? It's a no-brainer to me, right? So literally, I keep track, and I have people like Linda Buckmaster, who I showed you at the very beginning. Look at her referral tree. I keep track. And if I'm in my database, you'll see that I can see how many referrals. So if your name popped up, Jennifer, and you'd referred me 3 people, I'd be like, oh my gosh, Jennifer, you've referred me 3 people. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And I would maybe send her out a little gift card or do something special for her, right?
We have a top 50 tracker, so that would be perfect, right? Like, our team came up with a top 50 tracker that Lee and Julie had shared with our Lux group.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that tracks it as well, right? And the theory is that you put them in there, you touch them at least once a month, and then you track how many referrals. So, and then you can do little pop-by gifts, or, we've done a lot of masterminding at our team meetings on how we can touch these people. So that would be a good point to do, is if you don't already have something, go to your mentors, go to your leadership and ask them to create it for you, because that's what we, Lee and Julie have brought to our team. And it's been amazing. And I actually got a potential listing out of it.
That's amazing.
And he said he called me because I sent him one of the Popeyes that we had talked about in one of our team meetings. And honestly, he wouldn't have called me. I don't think. It's like a family friend of my husband's parents, and he called. So we're touching base.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Keep doing it. There's a couple questions I think I missed.
Yeah, our philosophy is, what would you rather do? Call 50 random leads that you don't know who the hell they are, or call the 50 most influential people in your life? And it's much
Absolutely.
easier to have that conversation with those 50 people and get to the point where they start giving you referrals than, just calling some random internet leads that you get and you don't even feel comfortable calling, and you get hung up on and all that stuff.
So a couple questions we had in here. Number 1, John, he had to leave, unfortunately, but he asked if I have someone address the name's address personally, or do you use labels? You guys, I send out 3,000 a month, so I use labels. And well, actually I mail merge the letter and put them in window envelopes. So I mail merge the letters. If you want to see examples of my letters, you can go to my website, which is margueritecrespillo.com blog, and you'll see different letters that I've posted up there. But literally there's stories about my life. Like last month's story was about my book. I've done stories about cleaning up the clutter. I've done stories about when I went through the remodel in my house. I've done stories about my kids. I mean, come on, you guys, you have material for days. You just don't know it, right? And if you're not a good writer, neither am I. I can tell you that I've had a few mistakes happen over the years that have been hilarious. Like one of them, my marketing guy that was helping me at the time, he did the mail merge on the Excel spreadsheet and it was off by 1. So all of my letters went out to, the address would say your address, Lee, but it was Nicole's name. So I got tons of calls. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But it was like one of the best things ever. I go, we need to do that like once a year, because everybody was calling to say how I'd screwed up the letter. Another person, one time we had a couple spelling errors in the letter, which there's always, and a couple people always want to point it out. So when somebody called me, she called me to point out a spelling error. I go, oh my gosh, you won. We're sending you a $25 gift certificate for finding a mistake.
I love it.
So, you know, you just got to make a joke out of it and have fun with it. And yes, I do mail my letter every month. There have been a few months I've missed, but I mail something. And you guys, if you're caught up in your head about what to write, don't get caught up in your head. There's lots of websites. You can do postcards. Like I did recipe cards for a while. There's all kinds of content that you can get for free. But I do encourage you, the more personal, like what are you more likely to open? A marketing report about the real estate market or my letter about my grandpa and finding the best Reuben? So you think of it kind of like that letter you get, that Christmas letter you get from your Aunt Sally telling you all the gossip, right? You always read that letter. You always read that letter. And so I like my letters to be kind of like that, if I can, right?
But that,
Like,
but that letter, you read it, Marguerite, that letter, you read it and you're like, man, that Aunt Mary's a wacko.
Exactly. Well, maybe they think I'm a wacko, but guess what? They
No,
buy
I
houses
know.
for me.
I'm just kidding. No, I love it.
Yeah. So those are the things. Oh, Leslie's here. Hi, Leslie. Hey, you guys got to follow Leslie on TikTok. She's doing some awesome stuff. Although she did have one of hers go viral and she had to take it off. It was pretty funny, but anyway, Leslie has an awesome TikTok. So you guys should follow her. She's out of Kansas. So she's great. Are you there, Leslie? Say hi. She's muted. Anyway, follow Leslie on TikTok. She's great. So I've been having a lot of fun following people on TikTok. I'm not usually that much on social media, but I laugh my butt off on TikTok. It's pretty funny. So what other questions? Any other questions? Leslie, what's your TikTok name? Oh, there it is. Wichita EXP Realty. Yeah, she's funny on TikTok. She tells stories, which I love. And she's got a wicked sense of humor. Okay,
then,
what else you got? What other questions?
Kate, did you have a question?
Kate asked her TikTok name and she posted it in the comments.
Oh.
Yeah. But you know, the thing is, you guys, all I'm telling you is pick one thing and do it. Like pick one thing, if at all possible. Have a party, have a happy hour, have anything, like meet at the park, or you know, do something local. Amanda, Carl, really? That's crazy. Where do you live now, Amanda? She says she grew up right in North Highlands, like literally.
I currently live in Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, my house was on Penwith Way in North Highlands. So I'll tell you one last funny story. So when we lived in North Highlands, I love North Highlands. We had the best neighbors ever. Like we had block parties, barbecues, our kids ran between houses a whole bit. But now North Highlands is not the best area. But either way, it's still, a lot of neighborhoods are great. And every night the helicopter would fly over at 9 o'clock. I mean, at 11 o'clock when the news would come on. So I'd always miss the news. So I got irritated. So then when we moved to the country, I was so excited to go where it would be nice and peace and quiet in the country, except the very first night we had all the windows and everything open and the frogs and crickets were so loud I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. So I traded helicopter for frogs and crickets, but it worked out. So.
That's so funny.
Who else is here? Let's see. So where in Tennessee are you, Amanda? Because Mitzi, my business partner, bought a property in Columbia, Tennessee.
Columbia is probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of me. I'm up in Clarksville near the border of Kentucky.
Oh, very cool. Cool. Leslie, I love what you just said. She heard me speak 5 years ago at Shareholders, I think, in San Diego, right? Was that when it was, Leslie? I spoke then about my business being referral, and she says her business is now 80% repeat referral. Yeah, it
And
works.
so
well.
much of it was just so obvious, and I don't know why I wasn't doing it. As soon as you said it, I was like,
Duh.
yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to inhale lunch before a meeting, so.
Oh, no worries. I have another friend, Megan, too, who attended my sales show class years ago, and she was all in the middle of the short sale craziness. And she was pretty traumatized by short sale and REO. And she said, I'm going to completely change my business. She completely changed it. And last year, you guys, she sold 45 homes, $600,000, 100% referral. Yeah. So she completely changed her business, went from doing all short sales to 100% referral. So, you know, you guys, it's possible. And we're headed into a market that is clearly going to change a little bit and shift. And we have an entire generation of real estate agents who've never seen a challenging market in the way, when I say challenging, I mean when home prices and home values were not skyrocketing. If you think about it, the bottom of the market was 2010. And since then, all we've seen is prices go up. And now things are going to maybe, who knows what's going to happen? I don't have a crystal ball. But the reality is great agents do well in any market. And when you have a business that's built by referral, those people rely on you and trust you to help them through good and bad real estate markets. So there's a lot of value in it.
That was great. So I think what we'll do in 2 weeks, we already have next week's guest already set. But in 2 weeks, what we'll do is, why don't we just do something on our top 50 VIP, and we'll kind of teach everyone how to build their business that way. Next week, we have Jessie Lockhart on creating your personal brand.
Awesome.
And she's an amazing guest. So we're looking forward to that. But I think that would be a good idea. And I think people would enjoy, because especially with this market shifting, it's really all about, referrals and building that secure business that's going to last a lot longer than, just some internet lead.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can I piggyback off that for you, Lee? And you know how much I love like rules and everything too. And make sure that when you're talking to people, you're taking notes. Even to keep yourself in compliance, right? Like, what did you talk about? Like, not only for the top 50 and trying to, keep on top of them, but I could probably run advertisements for KV Core. I love it so much, but that is such a powerful database. I literally put every time I make a phone call, I go into my app, I call from there, and then it says, would you like to log your call? I literally log everything that we talked about. And then the next time I talk to that person, I bring it up so I can go, oh, hey, did you ever have a meeting, with your financial advisor? You guys were going to talk about this. How did that go? So it's just and I think we all hear it over and over in our Con Ed as well, and how important that is, right?
Yep. My brain is for processing, not storage. So I have to keep all my memory stuff inside my database, right? And that's just so important to go in and add those details. And, love is in the details, right?
Absolutely.
I think so. It's helpful. There's no, like you said, there's no way you're going to remember what you talk, even if you have the best of intentions, right? There's no way you're going to remember, or put things in there, how many kids do they have? Are the kids doing any sports? It's coming up in the spring, right? Do they garden? You can see these little notes, right? You can even tag them out. Like, I'm kind of going to be doing a deep dive, I know, with Stephanie into like the KV Core stuff. And like, you can tag them out, send all your gardening people, sort them, right? Send them a little seed packet, say, hey, I was thinking of you, just to stay in front of them like that. Or, baseball moms, soccer moms. Yeah.
Here's one thing.
So cute. Yes.
Here's one thing I want to remind you of, you guys. Don't overcomplicate things. Like, keep it simple. Just do it. action is more important than accuracy, right? And many of you are waiting till it's perfect, and there's progress, not perfection. So it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be mistakes. It's how you handle those mistakes. And what's most important is just doing something.
That was perfectly said, Marguerite.
Thank
So-
you.
There's like a quote, right? Like imperfect action beats no action every time or something along those. I don't know, go Pinterest it, but it's there.
Well, thank you so much for having me today, Lee. Any other
Oh,
questions?
it's my pleasure. It was my pleasure. Like I said in the beginning, you are one of my favorite people in the whole world. I love you so much.
Feel the same.
I mean, you've been a very special person to me in my life, and looking forward to many years in the future, getting a vacation home together, all that
Yes,
stuff. So
ready for that. You guys all need
So-
to come out here to California and party. We got 5 acres, a guest house, a pool, a bar, a stage. Come hang out.
Wait, does somebody have their hand raised?
I do, yeah. So we've got an overthinker in the crowd. I won't point them out, but they shot me a text and they wanted to know how to ask this. So I'm just going to outright ask it since we're nearing the end. They said, so I've always struggled with painting a large social group. I've always preferred to have a small, intimate group of friends and family. Do you have any tips to overcome that? My worry is coming off as disingenuous because at the end of the day, I'd like to maintain a strict client-realtor relationship.
So a couple things. I guess I'm not clear. Are they are uncomfortable mixing their business and their personal life?
That's really what it sounds like. Yep. I'm going off
Okay.
of a one text context. So if you're brave and you want to speak up, do so now, but.
Okay. So here's the thing, you guys. It depends on what your why is. For me, I'm a very social person, and I am an open book. Like, I have no secrets. There's nothing about my life. And the truth is that when you keep your business and your personal life separate, then guess what? None of your people in your personal life want to use you for real estate. And if you're comfortable with that, that's completely okay. If you don't want to put your personal stuff out there, there's lots of stuff you can write about, like steal somebody else's stories, right? You can talk, there's tons of content on the internet where if you don't want to talk about your own personal stuff, I'm not talking about personal, like deep stuff, although I have written a couple times about what's going on in my life. When I was going through breast cancer, I wrote about it. When my son passed away, I wrote about it. Because that was the writing was really kind of cathartic and healing for me. And people genuinely love you and they want to be a part of your life. But if you are not comfortable with that, that's okay. You can do things separately. You can mail a letter about stuff that's going on in your area. You can talk about the parks in your neighborhood, or, you can, I mean, there's a million things that you can talk about. So I would say, don't let that get in the way. You can still write about stuff that doesn't necessarily have to be about your personal life, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that answered your question, but
Remember,
the reality
Marguerite's, your most popular, one of your most popular letters was about the Reuben sandwich,
yeah, which
And that
wasn't
really
a personal
isn't-
story about me. It was about my
Yeah.
grandpa,
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be. I would say that you're probably overthinking it, and I wouldn't get too caught up in it. Just don't write about things that you're not comfortable with, but there's tons of stuff you can write about, or things that you can reference. You can talk about your community. I know that Mitzi does a great thing called Lincoln Live, and she interviews people and businesses in her community. There's lots of things that you can do to separate things out that way. Hopefully that answers your question. If you want to message me privately, I'm happy to talk to you.
I shot them a message to see if it helped, but I mean, I think it made a lot of sense. So hopefully they agree.
All right, you
Thanks.
guys. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure, and you feel free to message me, send smoke signals, text me, call me, whatever you need help with. I'm here to help.
And then finally, last but not least, once again, April 28th at Adiamos in Warren, it's the Level Up Women's Collaborative, and it's really all about empowerment, women's empowerment. Men are welcome. Actually, it's I'm
It's
going to be there.
women led, but not women exclusive.
Yep. So they're gonna make me sit in the back though. I'm just kidding. No, it's gonna be
No, we're gonna make
awesome.
you refill everyone's drinks.
So So basically, to summarize it, and Nicole just did a really nice banner for it. It's really all about choosing community and collaboration over competition. And that's what our whole group's really all about, is like, we want to share our knowledge and get top level talent like Marguerite on here sharing her knowledge and experience. And we're not like hoarding it all and not, and just keeping it all to ourselves. That's not how we roll. We want everyone here to, to learn and become, better, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in life, no matter what, then that's really important to us. So
But we
thank
do
you,
dive
everybody.
deeper in our own private group though, too, right? So
Yep.
if you like what you see here, reach out to one of us, because we definitely pour into people, but obviously we all have businesses and families to run as well. So we take what we're doing here, and then within our own like Lux team, we take everybody so much deeper, right? So if you like
Absolutely.
the stuff you're seeing now, you just wait.
Thank you.
Thanks
They're
again,
talking
everybody.
about,
Thanks,
yes,
Marguerite.
we're thinking about opening up our own video podcast. So more details to come. So, and
That'd
that's
be
going
very
to be
cool.
open. That'll be open for all agents and all brokerages. So that they can
And
use our
Dan.
space.
And Dan.
And Dan. Dan, you got the perfect place to have your, you can do a home inspection vodcast, video podcast. It'll be awesome.
Ah, that'd be
I'm all in.
fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
everybody. You have an
everyone.
amazing day.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye,
you so
everybody.
much.
Bye.